Hello, my dear students. Well, up to now we have advanced a lot um, on doing analysis that we have found very useful to present our data, but we haven't still done a presentation of those data in order for the viewer to understand the sequence of the development of data. So today we are going to start studying what Tableau calls the story. Story is a sequence of presentations, or we could say slides, that are connected between them in terms of the information they present, but also in terms of the development of that information. So that is what we call storytelling, and there are many techniques. I uploaded two videos, readings, and I recommend you to read them and view them, watch the videos, because they are very interesting, very short and very interesting. I am presenting here part of one of them, and it tells us that there are a number of different data storytelling techniques that we can use when presenting information to our viewers. First of all, we have the possibility of showing changes during or over time, which means that we are going to start by presenting from big information to small or smaller information, or on the other way around, from small information to big information, in order to see the evolution of that information, the causes and effects the information finds in the data. The second technique is going to details, because in these presentations we can also manipulate the data in order to select or look up only the data we need to look up, and then go back to the original one. But also we may present the same table or the same graph many times in the storytelling, in order to show some details of different parts of the information, and take that information in order to um, keep the information and be able to compare one to the other one. And of course, we have the technique of zooming out to show a broad view of the information we are analyzing. Of course, that zooming out may be sometimes joined together with some filters, in order for the filters to act as um, choosers, if I can say that, selectors of information that is interesting for the viewer. And of course, we have the possibility of doing intersections and finding shifts in the information that may be important to make decisions. So here we are in a point in which we make decisions based on the information analyzed in many ways, not only just tables or graphs, but also choosing some information, crossing some information, and highlighting some information. Okay, but it is not these techniques that are the only ones, and we may find that we may be so creative about presenting information that would be great to the audience or the viewer, to find that the information is analyzed in such a way that um, the details and the big picture are included into the presentation. Okay, so let's start. First of all, we are going to use the database that we had for the examination, the second term examination, which is the database about a big um, human resources database of a big company, which has almost 30,000 employees, and that we used to analyze the information for our second term examination. We had some tables and some graphs, the count of nationality of the employees, the count of tipo de cargo. I am speaking in Spanglish because the fields are called in Spanish, and so we better call them as they are in the database. So this is a count of tipo de cargo and the percentage of each tipo de cargo in relation to the total of cargos. Okay. The third one is the count of strata with color and size of all the employees, and just referring to the strata that the employees pertain to. The next one is the total payments to Social Security and the percentage it represents. Okay. Next one is the size of the enterprises by department, because this company has many, we could say branches or enterprises, but or divisions. And we developed a map, a Colombian map, to show us what was or where the enterprises are and what size they have. So, for example, if I get near this one, um, Córdoba has Vivero, but also has Los Genios. There are two companies. So the number of employees in each of them, for example, in Los Genios is 18, and in Vivero is also 18. Okay. Now, the fact is that we may find that some companies are together in many regions of Colombia. Okay. Now, the next one is the total and subtotal payroll by department, enterprise, and línea de negocio or line of business with colors. And we have by departments. In Colombia, we call them departments. It's kind of states, but not really states. And the enterprises that are located in those departments. And the kind of enterprise it is, agro or investments. And all the payroll, the total payroll. Okay. Now we have also sex by strata and type of contract or tipo de contrato with the maximum level of studies or academic level, and the number of employees by month of birthday. Month of birthday, right? Okay. And the last one is the uh, total salary or total salary for each employee with a rise of 12%, which means that this is the salary rise is this one, and the total is the addition of those two. Okay, but now we are interested about a storytelling. So we can start by clicking on the menu story and clicking on new story. That is one way. The other way is to click on this icon at the bottom right of the screen, which is storytelling or a story. So when we click on new story or here, we are going to create a story, and we can call it as any other page or sheet or whatever. We can call it, for example, evolution, just to talk about evolution. Just a name. I am just giving a name. Now, let's suppose this is quite a presentation or a slide presentation of PowerPoint or Google presentation or whatever. And here at the left part of the screen, we find all of the sheets and also the dashboards if we had. And now what we have to do is to choose what table or graph or dashboard is going to be included into the evolution storytelling. Okay, so first of all, I may have or may not a dashboard. I'm going to build a dashboard quickly. As a matter of fact, I'm going to bring to build two dashboards. I'm going to bring, for example, the count of employees. I'm going to make it floatable or floating. I'm going to bring the count of employees by puesto de trabajo or by tipo de cargo. And I'm going to editing it a little bit in order for it to be seen completely. And the same for this one. And that's it. And I am going to bring another floating. Okay, floating, and that's it. I want to put it here, and another one. For example, this one. Okay, no, this one I won't put it here. This one. Okay, floating, and that's it. Let's analyze this way. Okay, all right, and here this one. Right. This is my first dashboard. I'm going to create another dashboard. For example, with the map, right? And I'm going to make it floating too. Okay. And make it a little bit bigger. And the other one is going to be, let's see, the total of the payroll, floating, right? And I may widen this a little bit. Sorry, diminishing the wide. And I'm going to try to bring this way. Okay. As a matter of fact, I could tell this one to be a smaller one and this one to be a wider one. Okay, now I have two dashboards. I'm going to call the one D, for example, the counts, and the second is the totals, just to give them a name, right? Okay, as you know, if I just click on one of the filters, I may filter also in the dashboard, okay, depending on the filter I have. Por lo tanto, we can, I'm sorry, I spoke Spanish. Therefore, we can use the dashboards also in the story. So let's create the story. All right, so we go either to the menu or here to the new story button. Okay, I had already created a story. Okay, don't worry. I may name the story or leave it that way. So the first thing I am going to do is to bring one um, table here, and well, I'm going to bring better this one, this one. So I'm going to title it, totals. As you can see, we have not the names of the tables or of the graphs here. So we may title we can call it the slide, and like total strata, total strata. Okay, and we have the first one. Anyway, as you can see, it is so big, so I can change the size, not here, but in the original table. So to go to the original table, I may go here and then go to the sheet in which is that graph. And I'm going to tell it to be fit entire view. That's it. Now let's see what happened in the story. Now we can see the wall graph in the story. As you can see, this is the slide or part of the story, and I'm going to add a blank one here at the the left side of the screen, blank, and we have another one. Let's bring the number of employees' birthdays by month and title it. Okay. Now I can also edit the title of the story, right? Double click here and I'm going to call it my first story. First story. Okay, and that's it. Either you are in the first or in the second slide, and you are going to see the name. Now here you have the size of the story because you may have it for different kind of presentations. For example, for a generic desktop or for a desktop browser or for full screen and so on. The default one is the story, which is the 1016 times 964 pixels. Okay, so you use the default because we are going to present it by a screen. Now, I can also go to the layout, and instead of having these squares, I may have numbers in order to display from one slide to the other, or dots, or only arrows. Okay, caption boxes help me to know where I am, right? Okay, now I'm going to create another caption, or sorry, another slide, and I'm going to bring sex by Estado Civil. Okay, now of course it is too big. Now I'm going to change it in, as you can see, all the tables or graphs I have wrote are marked with a little round in blue, which tells me that I have already used that table or graph. I may go to the graph and tell it to see the entire view or to fit height, right? Okay, let's see. I'm going to go to the story and Now I have, or I may see the whole graph. Okay, I'm going to add a caption. This is sex by, sorry, marital status by, I forgot, marital status by, let's see, sex, marital status by sex, marital status by sex. Okay, marital. Okay, that's it. Now we have three slides in the presentation. So I can go to any of them just clicking on the caption. Okay, and of course, if I go to the menu story, now I have more comments. For example, the format one, which tells us how to manage the colors of the presentation or the story. A shading, for example, I'm going to use stronger shading like this one, or a softer shading like this one. Okay, and or a darker one. It depends on what you need. I prefer lighter ones. Okay, now if I may change the color of the title of the story. Okay, and the color of the navigator, I'm going to use blue in order for us to see, bold, and a little bigger like this one. Okay, and the text objects, I may change also the color. I'm going to use a red one. Okay, but we don't have any object now. As a matter of fact, I may add to any of the graphs or tables a title. So I may drag to a text and I may title this graph if I want sex by marital status by status, right? Well, marital status. Okay, and there we are. As I changed in the format the text objects to another color, I can see that it changed the title of this graph. I may make it bigger, for example 18, and I may drag the border in order to make it bigger, right? Okay, because you may choose not to see these captions. So you may choose, instead of seeing the captions, you may choose not to see them. For example, arrows or points or whatever. Okay, now we have three slides, and as we are going to see, we are going to present them. So let's start. Here is the little icon, which is a screen. I'm going to click on it, and we are going to see my first story from the first one to the last one, just clicking on the buttons. Okay. On the lower part of the screen, we have some buttons that we may use if you want. So I'm going to click on Film Strip, and we have all the tables and graphs here available, and I can go to them or I can go back to the story. So if I want to see another table that is not in the story or another graph, I just click on the graph or the table to see the table, and I may go back to the story too. Okay. Now, during the presentation of the story, I may manipulate the information. Let's go to the birthdays bad months, and I want just to see February, click, press Ctrl, May, and press October without releasing Ctrl. So when I release, I make clock on any of them. Remember, clock is the right mouse button, and I can keep only. So Tableau is going to show us only those three data, only those three data. If I go near the caption, I find an undo button or revert button, and I can revert it. But I can also leave it that way. So I'm going to click on February, April, and August, and I want just to keep them. So I click on them. Sorry, February, May, and August. I click on them, keep only, and if I move to another one, when I go back, I won't be able to undo, right? It undoes it automatically. So if I want to keep them just like this, I'm going to, oh no, I'm sorry, it is not here. Before going to the presentation of the story, I have to choose in the story, but not presenting it, all the information I want to appear in that slide and keep only. And if I don't undo here at once, I may go to another one and it updates the information of this part of the story. So this is what is going to be presented. But if I want more information or I want information about this table, I may add or duplicate this. For example, I'm going to click on it and I'm going to duplicate it with this button, right? And birthdays of say December, and March, no, and June, July, July, and July. Okay, so I may drag again the table I need, which is this one. No, this one. Where is it? Okay. Okay, here I am. And choose what I want. December, and what was the other one? July. So I may click on December, press Ctrl, July, and keep only them. And I may move to another one. So I'm going to have here January, March, June, and October, and here July and December. When I present the story with this screen little button, I'm going to see in each of them the information I just choose. Okay, so the fact is that if I go to any of the slides, I can choose whatever information I want and click on keep only, or I can, well, I'm going to undo here, and or I can choose many of them with Control, okay, and tell it that I want to keep only. Okay, so I'm going to keep only those informations I need to see. I may go to another slide and go back, and I'm going to have all the information together. Okay, now I'm going to add a dashboard to the story. So to get out from the whole screen, I may click on the little screen on the right bottom of the screen. To go out, go to the story, create a new blank slide, and I'm going to call it dashboard 1 and bring the dashboard. Here it is. uh, dashboard, right? And I'm going to create another one, blank, and bring the dashboard to. Okay, there it is. Okay, now if I go to presentation of the story, I may also use the filters. The filters I have created in each of the sheets or of the um, well, tables or graphs, and filter the information according to some of the filters I have, right? As you can see here, I'm going to choose all, and you can see that the total salary for each employee with a rise of 12% doesn't change because I haven't related, or I have no information related to this filter. Okay, anyway, I can see, for example, and I may manipulate the size of each of the departments in order to see the department itself. For example, I'm going to see only Antioquia. This is Antioquia, right? And I may see Antioquia alone, or more than one, and that's it. Of course, I may make it smaller in order to see the distribution of each of the enterprises. So we have the dashboard one, right? No filters, but I may choose information, right? And we have the dashboard two with filters, right? In order to manipulate it, and I may make it wider or bigger, right? And do manipulating the table itself or the graph itself. Okay, right. Now you may wonder why we're only seeing double in nationality or count of nationality of employees. It is because probably in the original table, which is the one I'm going to show you, I'm going to bring the original table, so I may go out from the presentation of the story and go to the first one. So here we have a filter, as you can see, a filter. If I show the filter, I'm going to see nationality is only showing double. So I'm going to click on it all, and I'm going to see what happened in the story. The story in the first one, now we have all, not the total strata, no, but story. It is in the dashboard one. So now here we see all the nationalities. Okay, and of course, if we change any of the graphs or of the tables, we are going to see the changes here. Okay, now if you want, for example, in the count of strata with color and size, let's see, I may not have these formats or legends depending on what I want, right? And I may hide this kind of information. For example, I click on a part which is empty here or here. It's the same menu, clock, and go to legends. I don't want the color legend, it disappeared, and I don't want the size legend. Let's see what happened in the story. Here we have that we don't have the color. Now, I'm going to go to tipo de cargo. Tipo de cargo, let's see. Tipo de contrato. A ver, por acá, here this way. Tipo de cargo, and I'm going to hide this legend. Okay, let's see what happened. Now, Let's see, tipo de cargo. Now I go to count of strata with color and size and see where I don't need the filters or the legends. Okay, and I may cancel them. So if I want to delete it from the dashboard, sorry I didn't show you how I went to dashboard. I just click on the dashboard and I'm going to click on it and or click on it and then X, and it asks me if I want to remove the selected layout container, which will also remove the 4 items within it. So the cuenta de tipo de cargo, the count of strata, so I delete the containers. And I may move a little bit the information in order for it to look tidy, right? Okay, and I may widen this one. Okay, so now let's see what happened in the story. Total strata, birthdays by months, by the of December and July, marital status by sex, um, dashboard 1, dashboard 2. Okay, what I am teaching you now is to build, but a story should have a sequence of information in order to tell a story, to relate information, to cross information in each of the um, slides we have. And of course, this is just an example of how to create the story. And now, whenever you present the story, I'm going to present it. You may change the way you're seeing the screen here in the bottom right of the screen. So you may click on Show Film Strip as we saw before, on Show Tabs, in which you're going to see only the tabs of each of the tables and graphs. And also you may have here how to move from one slide to the other one. One slide, two slides, so with these little triangles. Now you can exit presentation mode in the corner in the little screen, but before you can exit full screen, so you can see exit or exit presentation mode or exit full screen, and you can see your Windows bar and many other things while you present. Of course, it would depend on how you're presenting and how comfortable it is for you. The fact is that the information here is quite grouped and it is easier to present from one to another one without losing the sequence. Or if you want to change the sequence, you're going to have to get out from the presentation and move any of the slides to any position. For example, I want the dashboard one in the second place, so I move it until I see the little blue triangles between two slides. So there you are. So here we are. Okay, the second dashboard, and the last one is here. Okay, now another way to present information is going to the page in which you have the information and just clicking on the screen in order to see it in the screen. I mean the whole screen. It is not a story, it is just the table or the graph. Okay, so this is another one. The story allows you to present the whole information. I had called my story evolution, but that doesn't matter. Here I have a story 2. Okay, and it's a good way to present the whole information. Now, this is for you to learn and practice how to build a story. But then we are going to see how to relate information and make a sequence of information in order to, as our reading says, be very persuasive or be very convincing for our public or viewers, in order for them to understand first of all, and then may be able to make decisions in the proper way, right? So please, your assignment is to build a story as you want. I want to see a story with at least 10 slides, dashboards, graphs, and so on. And therefore, the fact is that I am going to let you free to do whatever you want to do, but at least 10 slides, okay? Thank you very much for your kind attention.